started out on this thinking Heracles no Eikou would be a bit of a tough game to talk about. It is, after all, a member of a genre that doesn't mesh well with my format. But as I scratched the surface, I found out that there's a lot to the game and the situation around it. Heracles no Eikou was rushed into production immediately after Dragon Quest II became a success. Now, Dragon Quest II's release was January 26th of 1987, and Heracles came out June 12th. That already feels like a fast turnaround, but then consider how long it takes to manufacture cartridges. It's very likely that Heracles no Eikou was made in only a month or two. Some of that does show. It's a pretty small game compared to the Dragon Quest games. The map is continuous, meaning that the cities are on the same map as the general world, and the starting city takes up roughly 5% of the game's map. People seem to feel that the game can be completed in under 10 hours. Heracles no Eikou is also considered a prime example of decoge. Similar to kusoge, or crappy game, decoge refers specifically to the games made by Data East, which Japanese players found to not be good games, but to have a lot of quirks that made them distinctive. And those quirks start with the title. The official title of this game is Tojin Makyoden Heracles no Eikou. The only actual Japanese in that is the no Eikou part. Parsing the individual characters, it works out to be something like Warrior's Legend of the Evil Kingdom, Glory of Heracles. And given the nature of the words, I was being very loose with the translation there, trying to come up with something that sounded right. That kind of mashed up compound word is pretty common in Japanese titles. But it brings me to another language nitpick. It's one that I spotted but wouldn't have mentioned, except it's become kind of a meme among Japanese players. The name Heracles means Glory of Hera in Greek. So the commonly used title of the game is Glory of Hera. There's apparently a lot of language errors that crop up because the game's script is written in very idiomatic Japanese, while at the same time it's trying to talk about foreign concepts and places and names. So I saw a lot of comments about how the game kept making errors in usage of those foreign terms. Now personally, it's not an academic setting, it's not an attempt to portray Bronze Age Greece accurately, so I just let these things go. But I guess nerds are the same the world over, and there's some people who are really bothered that Hercules can recover health by eating Chinese cabbage or having some tonkatsu. The story of the game leads us to another point of contention. Hades, the Lord of Hell, has kidnapped Venus, the goddess of beauty, and so Zeus sends Heracles to rescue her. So yeah, they freely mix Roman and Greek names, which is something that literally anything that features Hercules does, so no big deal. You're not going to have to look very hard to see the Dragon Quest influences in this one. There's no party, just Heracles. And the very first thing you do when you start out is go buy your equipment. The shops and other major buildings in towns are colored red, so that's actually kind of nice. There are occasionally buildings you can enter that will have people in them to talk to, but those are a little bit glitchy. The square that you enter on is the square that you exit from, and you can either go into the box that's kind of like a house, or out into an empty area. That's kind of weird, but so is how people can sometimes appear in that empty zone. Your 400 gold actually goes pretty far. You can buy yourself a nice sword, a good shield, and some functional clothes. As a nice touch, all of the equipment you use shows up on your character. There's different pictures for different weapons, armor, and shields. And this is where we get into the next quirk of the game. All of your equipment has durability. Every time you use it, that durability decreases a little bit. Not always by one step either. Take a powerful blow and you could lose 4 or 5 points of durability from your armor. The lower the durability score, the worse that piece of equipment is. This means that the difference between equipment is how durable it is. Things that have higher maximum durability are going to be inherently better. You can get your equipment repaired by Hephaestus, and if you save up 5,000 gold, you can pay for him to come with you. He takes up an inventory slot, but he fully repairs your equipment after every battle. Probably a good investment later in the game. You can stay at the inn to recover your hit points, or you can buy food from a grocer. Naturally, there are other items you can buy, like a candle to light up dungeons. And then there's magic. Heracles doesn't learn any magic himself. He has to obtain items that cast spells for him at the cost of his own hit points. Now it's time to get out and start exploring the world. And here's where I think Heracles no Eikou actually does something well. The world's continuous, so you can just walk out of town and there's no stop. It means that you'll also meet people outside of town. There will be patrolling guards, or merchants that you can buy special things from. Outside of town in Dragon Quest so far, it feels like a vast wasteland. These little touches make Heracles no Eikou's world feel inhabited. And then we get to the monsters. I like the monster designs in this game. It feels like monster design for RPGs hasn't settled down yet, and so they were free to do whatever they wanted. And we get some pretty cool monsters out of that. Okay, they do a lot of palette swapping, but I think that comes with the territory. We actually see some kind of complicated monster behaviors too. These slime guys are timid and will run away, even from a level 1 character. And these thieves dodge your attacks all the time, but when you connect, it's devastating. And then we have the first boss. He's some kind of turtle monster who ducks into his shell when attacked. Yeah, it's a design that everyone's going to use, but this is the first time we've encountered it. One of the bigger problems though is the sky-high encounter rate. When every combat depletes your equipment's quality, having to wade through an encounter every few steps is a real problem. Or 0 steps in one instance. Yeah, they didn't code the tile triggers very well. Naturally, your progress is gated by what level you are, and what equipment you have. But Heracles no Eikou seems pretty generous with the levels and cash. I only played a little bit more than an hour, and I reached level 4 and was filling in my second tier of equipment. And that's with deaths that halved my money. The game uses a password system to continue, but the password doesn't save everything. The status of all chests and unique encounters gets reset when you use a password. So that boss you defeated will come back. But this is also something you can take advantage of to grind up some levels, or pick up some specialized things. You can also sell key items, so having those chests come back prevents you from getting stuck. Heracles no Eikou was a very successful game for Data East. In fact, it launched an entire series. We're only going to see one of the sequels, the rest were released on other systems, and only one of the games came out in the US. The DS game Glory of Heracles was actually made after Data East closed, but the legacy continued. I think you could feel the rush schedule in Heracles no Eikou. The game needed a lot more polish. But in terms of the gameplay, it's not bad. We're going to see a lot of awful RPGs as I go through this project, and I was fully expecting this game to be one of them. Heracles no Eikou won me over, though. It's quirky, and it taught me the meaning of decoge. Who could ask for more?